Welcome back to the Us vs. Them channel. I'm your host, Vince, and we're going to break down the next fight for the upcoming fight night this weekend. This fight is Chito Vera versus Aiemann Zahabi. Right now, Chito Vera is sitting at a slight underdog, plus 108, and Zahabi is at a minus 136, slight favorite. Before we get into the breakdowns, if I can remind you guys, hit the like button, gets us in the algorithm, hit the subscribe button, because that also helps with the algorithm and all that shit. So we appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching. Guys, I'm going with Aiemann Zahabi on this one. I think this is going to be primarily a striking bout. When you look at the grappling for these guys, neither of these guys are looking to get the fight to the ground. So I don't see any grappling at all. The only time I could see potentially some grappling, and it's kind of a long shot, is if Zahabi shoots a takedown early in round one. And the only reason why I see him doing that is just because we've seen time and time again of Chito Vera just not starting out really slow. A lot of times in his most recent fights, he never even really gets going, to be honest with you. But, he's notorious for starting really slow, and in the past, we have seen him getting taken down in round one and then defend those same takedowns from the same guys in rounds 2 and 3, 4, and 5. We saw that in the Figueiredo fight. Who else? We saw that in the Sandhagen fight. He gave up early takedowns against those guys, but, worked back to his feet eventually and defended those takedowns. And it's all because he does tend to start really fucking slow. That's going to be his biggest downfall in this fight. Since it's probably going to be primarily a kickboxing bout, I look at who's going to have the advantage here. And I do believe Zahabi will have the advantage, and I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but it's only because I think Vera just doesn't throw enough. I just can't bet on a guy that has consistently for the last 5 or 6 fights in a row just not thrown enough output. It just seems really gun shy. But if you look at the skills they do have, they both have really good jabs. They both have nice kicks to the legs. But who does that? Who does that better? Between these two, I'm definitely leaning more towards Chito. I think he hits harder than what's his name? Zahabi. I'm having a brain fart. When you look at their striking defense, like who has the better striking defensively, obviously I'm giving that advantage to Vera as well. So he continues to have all these advantages in the fights, but the one thing he doesn't have is getting into the range and actually doing damage. I think pretty much the only advantage that Zahabi will probably have in the striking is utilizing his range. He's going to have a slight disadvantage in the reach, but he just seems to fight longer with the strikes. He's really, really snappy and along with his jab, and his strikes just find the target a little better, a little easier. Another area where I tend to favor Chito Vera, and I feel like I'm making the case for picking Chito while also not picking him, but another case that kind of favors Chito is just past experience in his fights. Listen to the last 11 dudes he's fought. He's fought Figueiredo, Sean O'Malley twice, Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, Dominic Cruz, Rob Font, Frankie Edgar, Davey Grant, Jose Aldo, O'Malley again, and Song Yadong. Those are his last 6 opponents, or last 11 opponents. When you look at the last 6 for Zahabi, you got Pedro Munoz as well, but that was Munoz's last fight. It just wasn't the same guy. You got Jose Aldo on his retirement fight. You got Jakar Rodriguez, who's not UFC caliber, and Ricky Tercios, who's the lowest level UFC caliber, if he is even UFC caliber. He doesn't really have any of the quality of wins. When you look at the strength of schedule, obviously that also favors Chito Vera. For my official prediction, like I said, I'm going with Aiemann Zahabi. Everything in me wants to pick Chito Vera. I do believe he has the weapons to win this fight. I just don't see him actually utilizing those weapons. And that's just unfortunate, because like I said, I want to pick him. He is a fan favorite. But you know what? Being gun shy is not a good way to win fans for sure. So I'm going with Zahabi on this one. I think Chito Vera is tough enough to see the final bell. He does that time and time again. So give me Aiemann Zahabi on this one by decision. That's all I got for this breakdown. If you want to leave a comment or whatever, let me know what your thoughts on this one. Obviously we always welcome that shit. I respond to everything. But stop by for our next video. We're breaking down Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jesuda Vicious. Should be a pretty sick WMMA fight. So, and obviously there's going to be probably a path to make some money. So that's why we're breaking it down. So that's all I got for you guys. And I'm the fuck out of here.